Hey guys, this is video number 2 of the series that I promised. I just like to apologize for the whole resolution. The camera I'm using is not very good, guys. Please bear with me. This is what I have available. So yeah. Okay, video number 2. Before I go into the main theme, I just like to share something as well with you guys. A dream that I received before getting saved. I got this dream many years back, about 10 years or so back. And what happened in this dream, I was standing together with my brother, and we were on the ground, and it was nighttime, and we looked up and we saw clouds in the sky, and the moon was behind the clouds, and it was just a brilliant sight. The light from the moon was shining on the clouds, and it just looked totally awesome. It was really beautiful. And then I spoke to my brother. I said to him, you know what? Jesus is coming on the clouds. I mean, Jesus is coming. It's going to look something like that. The clouds that he'll be arriving on, it's going to look like that. And then all of a sudden, we were lifted up. And then we were standing on top of those clouds. And when we were on the clouds, I saw Jesus, and behind him, there was like dozens and dozens and dozens of angels behind him, all of them dressed in white. Myself and my brother as well, we were wearing white clothing. And Jesus was on a horse. They were all on horses, and he had this sword in the front of his mouth, and it was just drifting in the air. He wasn't holding it to anything. It was just drifting by itself in the air. And he spoke to me. He said, "Come closer." And he said, "I'm coming for you guys. I'm not going to leave you behind. The end is coming, and I want you guys to be with me. I will come and fetch you." Those are the words that he practically said in that dream. And I received this many years back before I got saved. Okay, so just wanted to share that. So back to the actual theme of these whole videos, and just the mark of the beast and some of the things that God showed me. I received a dream. This dream, I saw a man with the numbers 666 printed on his hand. It just flashed like that by, and no face or anything. I just saw the hand, just portion of his body, and that was it. And then the dream, I saw robots, and I saw men living with robots, and I saw human beings with robotic limbs, arms, legs, you name it. Portions of robots carved into their bodies somehow. And this was everywhere. I saw police that were robots, you know. And then it was as if there was like this merging society between robot and man. I then saw myself running, and I was running beside a river, and on the other side of this river, I saw a robot. But this is the robot from the movie Transformers, and I was running, and he was running, and we were running in the same direction. And this robot, what happened is he exploded into pieces, and then it was Jesus now. It's as if Jesus came out of that robot, and I was running, and I looked across to see Jesus now, and we were both running. And then we both stopped. He stopped, I stopped. We turned towards one another, and he saw me, and he waved at me. And he said, "Come over." And then I woke up. That was a one dream. The other dream I received, I saw basically there was a lady, and she was on a computer. She was just using search engines and stuff, searching for stuff, and it was just sitting in front of the computer looking at things. And then I saw the names of companies coming up. And some of these companies, you know them, possibly even using them right now. I'm not going to mention the names though, but I will mention that they are very famous. You know them. And you can just put two and two together. The companies I'm talking about, they are IT companies. They do with the whole computer business. And they came up while this woman was searching on a screen. And I woke up, and it's as if I knew what all of this was about. To me, it looked as if there was a signal from God that man, machine, this whole merging between man and machine is coming to us. And the companies responsible for it, and the companies that are actually pushing towards this thing happening, and it's this combination of artificial intelligence together with the human intelligence. And the one sign that I saw, I was watching a movie. This movie, it's a movie, I'm not going to mention the name of the movie, but this lady injects a disease in her body. But the disease that she injects in her body is actually small nanobots. And these nanobots, it enters into her. She injects it at 3 points on her hand. And there's a section in the movie where she holds her hand up, and you see these 3 points of injection on her hand, where she put this virus into her body. But the virus is actually small nanobots. And when that happened, I started getting visions, the same visions that I got in those dreams. And then I knew what it was all about. God thereafter gave me the book of Revelation. And what he showed me was in chapter 13. Revelation chapter 13. I got my Bible over here, guys. Where it speaks about the mark of the beast, speaks about the 666. And this is what God actually gave me. I'm going to read from verse 15, chapter 13. It says, He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. So, in other words, this beast and the image of the beast, it was given power to speak, it was given life. So, it's something that didn't have life. Okay? And it was made to speak. So, it couldn't speak previously, but now it could speak. Okay? And its speech could be understood. And it did something. It caused as many that wouldn't worship the image of the beast to be killed. So it was something that murdered anybody that was against this beast. Let me continue. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their forehead. Okay? You cannot buy, you cannot sell unless if you have the mark of this beast or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here's where the important bit comes in. Here is wisdom. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast. It is the number of a man, and his number is 666. And what God showed me was, the scripture describes it as his name. His name is a number. When you look at computers and algorithms and just their basic functioning, they function with numbers. Okay? That's the way that they work. It's a bunch of number crunching happening. And if it's artificial intelligence, it's all based on number crunching and the way these numbers all correlate. Look, I'm not into IT or anything. I'm not a programmer. I'm not into all of that. but I do know that they work with numbers and calculations and so on, where they take whatever it is and turn it into a number and make a decision based on a number that's calculated somehow. And God actually showed me that this name, that's a number, it's actually speaking about it being a computer, because that's what a computer does. It calculates. It's a big calculator. In the Bible, a name is very significant. It's something that you stand for. It's something that it's part of your identity. And what this scripture is actually saying is that this thing's identity is to do number crunching. It says it's a number of a man, meaning it's a man's creation. And it's the number 666. The number 666, basically, you go back to the book of Genesis. It took God 6 days to actually um, to create everything. Okay, and only on the seventh day did he get to enjoy the creation. So think of it like this: say maybe you have a car, you build cars for a living. Um, you take all the components and you're building your car. You're building your car. You're building. You take the engine, you insert the engine. You take the interior, you put the interior in. You build your car. You completely build your car. It's done. It's complete. Sorry, guys. The only time that you get to enjoy the car is when you actually take the key, put the key in, and start your car. So think of that as the creation. The 6 days is the building of the car, and the seventh day, where God is in his rest now, it's as if God is actually put the key in and he starts the car and he goes for his first joyride, where he gets to actually enjoy his creation. That's how I like to think of it most of the time, just to get a better explanation on what God's rest is all about. So the 6 days really represents the working of God's hands, also the working of man's hands. And the seventh day is a day of rest. So when Adam and Eve sinned against God, they were cast out of the garden. And God said to Adam, "From the sweat of your face you shall eat." God was basically saying to him, "You will toil for the rest of your life. You will continue working and continue working. You will always have these 6 days. You will never enter into the seventh day. Never ever. You will always be working, always be toiling, because I have now been set apart from you. You have chosen to separate yourself from me, so you cannot see rest any longer, because your rest actually belongs to me. In order for you to have rest, you and I have to be one. Now that you have chosen to cast me one side, you cannot have rest because your rest actually belongs with me. You and I together, that's the only way that you will have rest. So from your face, from the sweat of your face, you shall continue eating and you will always be working. You will not have rest. Later on, with Israel, God introduced the seventh day, the Sabbath day. That was basically just leading towards Christ. That's what the Sabbath is all about. Is all about. It's a day that just says that we have to enter back into God's rest. So God gave Israel that specific day, the Sabbath day, to remind them that there is a resting place for man in God and that it's coming soon. When did it come? It came as Jesus. You read the New Testament, the scripture says that Jesus is the Lord of the Sabbath. So, as the Lord of the Sabbath, what it's actually saying is that Jesus comes to bring the rest again. So, the death and the resurrection of Jesus Christ takes mankind back into God's rest. Okay, so you're no longer toiling. You are back in the seventh day, back in the Garden of Eden. You are one with God. You are back in the temple of God, because that's practically what the Garden of Eden was. It's just merely a temple, a meeting place where man and God meet together. So, when with Jesus Christ, the new temple is your body, and he is the Lord of the Sabbath, and he brings the rest. He brings the rest. So when the Bible describes 666, it's again, once again, saying the same thing that God spoke to Adam in the beginning. It's your works, they are aside from me. You shall not rest because you haven't found me. Your rest belongs to me, belongs with me. And that's what God gave me concerning the 666. Why is it mentioned three times? It's for emphasis, so that you try and find the rest, you can't. You try and find it, you can't. And the harder you try, the more you fail, because you have cast me one side. That's what God says. You cast me one side, so you'll continue trying to enter into the rest, enter into the seventh day. You shall not find it. Where do you find the seventh day? When you arrive at Jesus. So that's what God gave me concerning the mark of the beast and what it's all about. That there will come a time when man and machine will merge together, they will become one. And I've seen there's a lot of progress towards this. I've seen, just looking on the internet, um, companies involved in this. There's one in particular that has done a lot of progress, Neuralink, where they've done so much research on this whole merging between man and machine and so on. And they can actually detect thoughts. And I was so surprised. And after seeing that, this actually became real to me. I was like, so this is what the scripture has been speaking about all along. And yeah, that's what God gave to me concerning that. Okay, so I'm going to end this video now. And I'm going to make the next one after this just to go deeper into detail. Okay, guys, thanks for watching.